The Apostle Paul, one of the greatest spiritual leaders in history, once wrote these haunting words, "I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do." What if your battle with lust isn't a sign of failure, but evidence of God's unique purpose for your life? By the end of this message, you'll see your struggle in a whole new light. A pattern in Scripture. From Genesis to Revelation, there's a pattern that can't be denied. Those chosen for extraordinary purposes often faced extraordinary temptations. David, called a man after God's own heart, fell into lust with Bathsheba. Joseph, destined to save nations, was tempted by Potiphar's wife. Samson, gifted with supernatural strength, was repeatedly drawn to relationships outside God's will. These weren't random lapses. There's a deeper spiritual principle at work, and it applies to you right now. When God calls someone for a significant purpose, the enemy doesn't respond with mild resistance. He targets their potential. Think about it. If you were in a war, would you strike randomly, or would you aim for what poses the greatest threat? Your struggle with lust might not be random. It might be a direct attack on your God-given impact. Paul's thorn and yours. In 2 Corinthians 12:7-9, Paul writes about a mysterious thorn in the flesh, a persistent struggle God chose not to remove. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Scholars debate what Paul's thorn was. Some say it was physical, others spiritual. But here's what matters. God didn't remove it, He used it. Your struggle with lust may be serving a similar purpose, not because God causes temptation, but because He can use every weakness to draw you closer, make you wiser, and prepare you for something greater. The struggle of spiritual giants. Struggles aren't proof you're disqualified. They might be proof you're being forged. St. Augustine once prayed, "Lord, make me pure, but not yet," while battling sexual temptation. C.S. Lewis spoke of fighting a zoo of lusts before becoming one of Christianity's greatest thinkers. Even Mother Teresa confessed to seasons of deep doubt and darkness. The common thread? They didn't run from the struggle. They let it refine them. 4 ways to respond like the chosen. If your battle is tied to your calling, how you respond to it matters. Here are 4 responses that can transform your struggle into strength. 1. Recognize targeted attacks. Ask yourself, what is the enemy trying to stop? Is it your leadership, your future marriage, your influence? James 1:2-4 tells us to count it joy when we face trials, not because they're easy, but because they mature us. 2. Transform shame into sacred awareness. Most advice says to fight shame with willpower, but Paul boasted in his weakness. Why? Because weakness is where God shows up strong. Let your struggle remind you to stay close to God, not run from Him. 3. Weaponize your weakness. Your pain isn't just personal, it's preparation. 2. Corinthians 1:4 says we are comforted so we can comfort others. Your story can be someone else's survival guide. 4. Embrace grace-powered discipline. Grace isn't a license to sin, and discipline isn't meant to be harsh. 1 Corinthians 15:10 captures it perfectly. By the grace of God, I am what I am. I worked harder than all of them, yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. Accountability, Scripture, boundaries, prayer. These aren't just rules. They're weapons, empowered by grace. A new perspective Most Christians think that lust means they're drifting from God. But what if your awareness of the struggle actually means you're drawing closer? Romans 8:28 reminds us that God works all things, even temptations and trials, for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. Your failure doesn't cancel God's plan. It might actually be part of how He's preparing you for it. When David fell, God didn't discard him. Instead, that fall birthed Psalm 51, a prayer that has healed countless souls. God's redemption is stronger than your rebellion. One final challenge. If you've made it this far, I want you to take one step most people never do. This week, don't just pray for freedom. Pray, God, show me the purpose behind this struggle. How do you want to use it for your glory? Write down what He reveals. And if you're brave enough, share it. Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs today. If this message gave you hope, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join us as we uncover biblical truth for life's toughest battles every single week. Where you see weakness, God sees potential. Where you feel like a failure, God sees your return to Him. And where you see struggle, God may see someone chosen for extraordinary purpose. You are not disqualified. You are being prepared.